Is it okay now?
It is. Omar, first of all, thank you so much for accepting the invitation to come over and have this little bit interesting chat about translation. I think translation has been marginalized in my channel. First, because I am not specialized in translation, and second, because I'm a very bad English Arabic student, and used to be. So it's been a challenge to me, and that's why I reached out to you so we can do a little bit of discussion about that. But first of all, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us a little bit about your interesting journey with translation, your qualifications, how you came to be who you are right now, and what kind of career and experiences you've gone through. What has shaped you to become very professional English Arabic translator?
Thank you so much, Mr. Waleed, for this invitation, and thank you for hosting me in, to have a session with you talking about the translation or interpretation. I think it is much better suit what we are going to talk about this evening. So I have graduated from the College of Art, Department of English Language and Literature. I have studied 2 years in the University of Mosul and 2 years in the University of Al-Mustansiriya. So I graduated in 2010. So when I graduated, I kept on learning English. So I missed the chance to enroll in an MA study. So I decided to develop myself. So I don't remember that there is one day has passed away without learning or reading at least a sentence in English in every single day in my life after graduation. So after graduation, I have been appointed as a manager of the media section in one of the Iraqi ministries. Then I didn't like that job because I felt that I am much into translation.
Okay, perfect.
So I kept digging on changing my section. So I encouraged the Director General to establish a new section about translation, and they convinced him that we are going to translate some researches or some pieces of news to publish them publicly on the official website of the ministry or on the Facebook page of the director that I work in, and I did it. He established a new section and he named it the translation section, and I've become the manager of this section.
Perfect.
So day after another, I have improved myself. So I offered my services to different director generals in the ministry. So I was eager to translate whatever piece of text, whatever paragraphs that I can see in front of me, some news, some small researches. So typically, like in 2014, there was a campaign named the Campaign of Standing Against Extremism, Exaggeration, and Terrorism. So it was a huge scientific campaign. I remember that I literally translated 113 researches against the to stand against the extremism, exaggeration, and terrorism. So these researches have shaped Omar, and they have helped me a lot. They have enriched my own knowledge. They developed the skills that I have currently. So it is consistency. It is the work day after another, day and night, translating every single sentence that you face. These are the smallest steps, the small bricks have built Omar as a small interpreter right now.
What if you can summarize in one item, what was the major turning or shifting or milestone in your career? What has changed you? What's the major impact that just made you who you are now as an English Arabic translator?
So it is the consistency. So when you work day and night, you would find the fruits of the work that you've been doing.
Okay. Reaping the fruits. Awesome. Now, for the generation of translators that are graduating this year and previous year, and they, going to the free range of world and trying to find opportunities for them or job vacancies as English translators or interpreters or translators/interpreters. What kind of top tips that you do have on top of your head to tell them? Let's say, what are your top 5 to 10 tips for them to just embrace translation and just develop this skill to become very professional, cutting edge translators or interpreters in this field?
So if we want to talk about translators or interpreters, they are totally different. So you cannot be an interpreter unless you've been a translator. So I have worked as a translator for 5 years. I haven't worked as an interpreter during the first 5 years of my career. I was able to do so, but I didn't want to put myself in a position that I didn't like. So
what's the main
developing my skills?
Well, before we shift to the tips, because this is very important point that you just raised here, what just made you not go through this kind of trajectory or career or track of specialization?
So I wanted to develop the skills that I have. I wanted to have a professional startup as an interpreter. Okay, so regarding the tips, these tips that I'm going to share with you and with your audience aren't academic skills, because because these tips as a result, as an outcome of my own experience, not as the academic interpreters or translators believe in. So these are my own tips. These are the tips that I would give to myself like 10 years ago.
And what are they?
All right. Okay, so first of all, mastering the Arabic language.
Wow, I never expected that to come. I never expected that coming.
This is number one. This is number one priority.
Okay.
This is number one priority. So once you want to be an interpreter or a translator, you have first of all to master your mother tongue. You have to master the Arabic language. Arabic language is a sophisticated language. It is a complex one. There are so many there are so many branches, there are so many structures, different different items in the sentence that you can find, complex grammar. So it is very important to focus on your Arabic language if you want to be a successful interpreter or translator. Tip number 2, it is master the English language.
Okay.
Okay. So
when you mention the word mastering,
sorry,
I think it's easier said than done. But when it comes to mastering English language, can you just be more specific here? Like, is it a necessity that English translators master the English syntax, or the whole the whole linguistics field, or are there any specific sectors or categories where they have to shift their attention to, because they are the priority when it comes to translation?
So if you want to go deep into the linguistic field, I think it is you who would be better to discuss these things regarding linguistics. But I don't mean that a translator should know everything in linguistic field. Like to dive in all the branches of linguistic, like social linguistics and etc. etc. But I mean to at least a translator should know the grammar rules, the sentence structures, how to use the tenses properly. These are the things that would make the translator a professional translator. And yes, I wasn't perfect in the grammar, and till now I'm not, but I feel that I am in a good level in a grammar currently. So day after another, by practicing, you would find yourself that you are speaking English without making mistakes.
On average, how many hours do you speak English?
Yes, I still make
translation
mistakes
every day.
So let us say 2 hours a day.
Okay, so is this the average where the person can maximize his proficiency and also his professionalism when it comes to mastering the field of translation? Or should he maximize that to an optimal level that is recommended by you in this case?
No, when I say 2 hours, I mean that I'm working 2 hours, not practicing 2 hours. So currently I have moved out from the pool of practicing, not entirely. I still practice every day when I work, but I spend 2 hours per day doing my job, not for the reason of practicing, for the reason of doing my job, but at the same time it is practicing.
Okay, perfect. Which is an offshoot, or
so regarding the number.
Go ahead.
So regarding the number of the hours that for a translator, a junior translator needs to spend in a day, I think even 1 hour is enough. But it is a matter of consistency, doing things continuously, day after another, not leaving gaps in the thing that we do.
Awesome. Do you have any final words for translators or those seekers to become very professional in this field? Final words on that?
So final words, actually, if I want to say the words that you want me to advise the junior translator, I haven't started yet. So I think that we have to conduct another session to do so. So yes, when a translator moves from being a translator into an interpreter, so there are several challenges and several tips that the translator an interpreter should take into consideration. So as for the tips, tranquility, to be in a mood of peace during the interpretation. Then concentration. An interpreter should concentrate about what he is listening to, or she is listening to. So an interpreter should have a clear voice. Also, he shouldn't, they shouldn't be in their own sides. They should be neutral regarding the topics that they are translating or interpreting. Yes. And then an interpreter should have the competency of the subject, the speaker, their culture, the speaker, and the persons of the source language and the target language. And also, even professional interpreters and translators, sometimes they face some words or terms they don't know or they haven't heard about them before. So here is a critical point. A professional interpreter would pose, as an example, the meeting or the conference, and should ask about what does that word mean. Okay, it is very critical to ask, because it is a sign of a professionality of the interpreter. And then regarding the challenges, there are some words have several meanings, so we have to pick the right meaning. And also, we are going to face some acronyms and abbreviations, so we have to know what these acronyms and abbreviations stand for. Then, if you are translating for a citizen from the United States or from the UK, then it is I think it is not that big deal for an interpreter. But if you translate it for someone whose English is their second language, then it is an issue regarding understanding their accents. And yes, and there are so many challenges that an interpreter might face.
Omar, I would like to thank you so much for your dedication and perseverance to constantly be a professional, cutting-edge English Arabic translator. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation and enriching us with this enlightening and insightful comments, tips and recommendations on how to galvanize and improve the skill of translation / interpretation. You are a treasure in and of yourself, and I truly appreciate your accepting the invitation to be with us and telling us a little bit of your experience and your career and your field of translation. I'm pretty sure that the progression that you're making is going to get you to a very accomplishing position, whether in government or globally. Thank you so much, and stay tuned, and we will stay in touch.
Thank you so much, Mr. Waleed. The pleasure and the privilege is mine. And one last tip for the interpreters: don't ever forget your notebook and your pen whenever you are doing interpretation. Excellent, you are the man.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Omar, and have a lovely evening.
Welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. You too as well.